Get ready to put your math skills to work to solve this interesting little math word problem. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and read the problem. It is as follows. Lisa baked 42 biscuits for her 12 guests. If 6 biscuits remain uneaten, what is the average number of biscuits that her guest ate? Okay, so this is the problem. Feel free to use a calculator, but if you can figure this out, we'll go ahead and put your answer into the comment section. Then, of course, we'll solve this problem step by step. But before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John, and I have been teaching middle and high school math for decades. And if you need help learning math, well, check out my math help program at tcmathacademy.com. You can find a link to that in the description below. And if this video helps you out, or if you just enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, let's go to take one more look at the question. So Lisa, she's very nice. She's going to bake 42 biscuits for her 12 guests. All right, so if 6 biscuits remain uneaten, what is the average number of biscuits that her 12 guests, ate? Okay, so first things first, we have a math word problem, and always use the rule of 3. In other words, read the problem at least 3 times before you pick up your pencil and start to write stuff on your paper. That just gives your brain a chance to kick in, and you really have to kind of think about the problem, get the information absorbed in your brain, and make sure you understand the question. And the question here is, so Lisa has these, she cooked all these biscuits. Some of the biscuits were not eaten, so she has 12 guests, and the question is, what is the average number of biscuits that her guest ate? Okay, so it's going to make good sense for us to understand or review the concept of what the average is. So certainly we'll do this, but here's the thing. In a problem like this, it's not that difficult, but again, if you try to rush through it really quickly, you're going to make errors even if the math involved is easy. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and review what the average is so we understand, what, obviously the average is and how to apply it in this problem. Because if you don't know what the average is and how to calculate it, we're going to have a tough time answering this question. So let's go ahead and review that right now. Okay, now if you didn't know what the average is, and there's another fancy word for the average, it starts with an M. Do you know what it is? Is it median? No, it's not. It is the mean, okay? Now, a lot of people confuse this other word, median, with the average, because the median is also a very commonly used word. But when we're talking about the average, it's also referred to as the mean. So let's go ahead and just calculate the average of these 3 numbers right here, 1, 3, and 8. All right, so you can see I already did the work. And the average of a set of numbers is basically we have to add up the numbers. We're going to find the sum of the numbers, and then we're going to divide by how many numbers that we have. So in this case, we're going to take 1, we're going to add it to 3 and 8. So 1 plus 3 plus 8. Now how many numbers do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. So we're going to divide by the number of numbers that we have. Okay, so 1 plus 3 plus 8, which of course is 12. And we're going to take that 12 and divide it by 3. So our average here is 4. Okay, now in terms of what is the average? Now we just calculated the average, but what is it? Well, that's a bigger topic in basic statistics. But basically, the average is something, it's what we call a measure of central tendency, okay? But the average is only one measure. There's other measures out there like the median, and then there's some other fancy ones like the mode, the range. So for those of you that are interested in statistics and average, I'll give you some suggestions where you can learn more about this. But first things first, we're just trying to figure out how to calculate the average. And of course, most of you probably already knew this, but now that we know what the average is, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the problem. All right, so let's think about how many biscuits that Lisa baked for her 12 guests. She's such a good cook. Hopefully these biscuits are really nice, but I kind of drew out some biscuits here. Now you don't have to do this. This is just me having fun with this problem. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this row of biscuits. So 6 times 7 is 42. So we're going to have 7 rows right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then of course here is our 7th row. Now, if you felt compelled to write out all these biscuits. Well, that's fine, but it's not necessary. I just did this just to have fun. But here is our 42 biscuits for our 12 guests, right? So our 12 guests here are going to eat these biscuits up. Aren't they lucky? Okay, so they're going to eat this up, but here is the deal. This part of the problem right here states that 6 biscuits remain uneaten. So our 12 guests did not eat 42 biscuits. 6 of them, okay, these down here, were just kind of left, all by themselves. So the guest really ate this many biscuits. All right, so we're talking about real basic arithmetic and stuff, but if you struggle with what's going on in a problem, it doesn't hurt to come up with a quick kind of model and sketch it out. And this is where math can be fun and creative. Of course, I'm taking it to a whole new level by writing out 42 biscuits. But the rest of the problem states the following. If 6 biscuits remain uneaten, what is the average number of biscuits that her guest ate? So what we need to do is to calculate the actual number of biscuits that her guest ate, which of course is pretty straightforward math when we look at it like this. But we didn't have to draw these biscuits out. We could just kind of think to ourselves, all right, there's 42 biscuits, 6 biscuits remain uneaten, so 42 minus 6 is 36 biscuits. So that's how many biscuits that her 12 guests ate. All right, so they ate 36 biscuits. How many people ate them? 12 guests. And what is the question? Well, we have to go back over here, and the question states, what is the average number of biscuits that her guest ate? Now, the one thing about the average is this. Some people the average doesn't tell you that every guest ate this exact amount, okay? It's just an average, right? So we don't really know that, but when we see the answer, it's going to seem pretty obvious. All right, so 36 biscuits were eaten amongst 12 guests. How many do you think on average each guest ate? Well, probably all of you already know the answer. Now, before we continue on, if you want to get better at math, you definitely can. But the key is to find a teacher that gives you clear and understandable instruction. So hopefully you like my teaching style, and if you do, if you're like, yes, I think I can learn from you, well, then you will love my full main math courses. So you can find the links to all of these courses in the description, but they include basic math, pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, and a ton of specialized test prep math courses. Okay, so again, don't give up if you're having a tough time in math. I can definitely help you out. So you can check out the links to all these courses in the description. So let's get back to the video. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, right? So if we had 36 biscuits, right? So well, actually it was 42, but these 12 guests ate 36 biscuits. How many, on average, how many biscuits did each guest eat? Well, it's going to be 36 divided by 12, which of course is 3. So on average, each guest ate 3 biscuits. Okay, so pretty straightforward, but let me end this on this video on this part, okay? The average, all right, is, and again, let me just go and write this right here. The average is the same thing as the mean. Now, when you learn math, okay, you want to apply it in your real life and to kind of understand the real world. So typically, when you read the news, especially like financial news, they don't use the average. The average is used, but it's not used as much as this word right here, which is the median. Okay, these two things have separate meanings, and this one right here oftentimes is confused with the mean or the average. These two things mean something entirely different. Let me give you a quick example. Let's suppose we have a neighborhood, and the average cost of this house in this neighborhood is $100,000. Okay, so that's the average cost. So what do you think that means? Do you think that means that, okay, well, if you're going to go buy a house over here in this neighborhood, that you would expect to pay around $100,000 for this house? And that's what most people would kind of think. But really, this cannot be the case. See, this house right here could be like $1. This could be like $5. This house can over here could maybe be $15. Now, I'm just gonna make up a number because I don't know if the average is going to be 100,000. I can do this real quick in my head, but maybe this is like $800,000. Okay, because 800, or not 800,000, 400,000. Okay, because we have four houses, so 400,000. If we add all this up and then divide by 4, maybe we're going to get around $100,000. So, the average doesn't tell us a lot. So, it tells us something, but it doesn't tell us a lot. What's better, okay, oftentimes, and what's actually the best is when you have the average and the median, but the median is something entirely different. The median is going to tell us all the values. Okay, let's suppose the median home price is $250,000 in a neighborhood. So what does that mean? Well, it means that 50% or one half of all the homes in that neighborhood are less than 250,000, and half of the homes in that neighborhood are more expensive than 250,000. Now, we don't know what the spread is. We don't know if this is going from like 220 to 280. That's something called the range. So here's the thing. In statistics, the more measures or measures of central tendency, the average, the median, the range, the mode, even the standard deviation, this gets kind of, more and more involved. Well, this is all good stuff, and it has a lot of practical application. But, I really wanted to stress this here, the median, because, we're talking about the average here, which, of course, is the mean, because this is such a highly confused part of math. And you'll see these terms everywhere, especially in the news when they talk about the median home sale or the average this or the median that. So just pay attention to that. Now, let me go ahead and answer a question that I kind of threw out there. And that is, if you want to learn more about basic mathematics, basic statistics, this is really important, understanding information and data. Well, I pretty much teach this in most of my main math courses at various levels, whether it's pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, etc. But if you're interested in relearning mathematics, you're not a math student, well then check out my Math Skills Rebuilder course. In that course, I teach you basic math, some algebra, I teach you a lot of geometry, even some basic trigonometry, and some probability and statistics. This is a very great, I think it's a great course, but it's an excellent course if you want to kind of refurbish and relearn all that math that maybe you forgot 40 years ago. But again, learning math, the more math you know, I personally think there's a lot of practical value in it, okay, especially statistics and probability. All right, so with all that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your math adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.